One for all for one. That seems to be the new motto for the three bigwigs of the BRICS bloc: India, Russia, and China. Since its foundation in 2009, the BRICS bloc largely remained an underdog due to prevailing rifts among member nations. Russia spent decades resolving boundary issues with China until the two nations signed a final agreement in 2008 that paved the way for return of 174 square kilometer of territory to China. On the other hand, the boundary dispute between India and China remains hot to date. The two nations even had a bloody clash in 2020, which saw dozens of soldiers being killed and disruption of political and economic ties. Over the past 4 years, both nations have held more than 20 rounds of commander level talks to diffuse tensions, but it seems now Russia has entered the picture, pitching itself as a potential mediator between the two Asian giants. On September 11th, Indian National Security Advisor Ajit Doval met with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi in Russia's St. Petersburg. A press release issued by the Indian Foreign Ministry said that the two officials discussed outstanding issues along the line of actual control, or LAC, to stabilize and improve India-China ties. The LAC is the de facto border between the two countries. Additionally, Russia is also expected to host Indian PM Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping in October for the BRICS summit. Notably, following the meeting between Doval and Wang Yi in Russia, both nations highlighted positive outcomes of the previous border talks and expressed their intention to further stabilize the ties. On Friday, spokesperson of the Chinese Foreign Ministry Mao Ning declared that Beijing has disengaged its troops from 4 locations in eastern Ladakh, including the Galwan Valley, the place where the bloody clash had taken place 4 years ago. Mao's remarks came a day after Indian Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar said that roughly 75% of the disengagement problems with China had been sorted. Jaishankar is generally seen as a China hawk leader in the Modi administration. Just days before, he had termed China as India's special problem. So what explains this sudden change of hearts? Perhaps the answer lies in Moscow. Not to forget that India and China are already focusing on deepening their economic partnership. Earlier this week, Jaishankar had declared that India was not closed to business from China. The country's finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman has also recently backed suggestions to allow more Chinese investment in the country. India and China are seemingly bearing the hatchet at a moment when both countries are also helping Russia resolve the Ukraine crisis. PM Modi recently traveled to Kyiv and Moscow to deliver his message of peace. Putin last week also acknowledged that nations like India, China, and Brazil can play a role in ending the conflict. The three bigwigs of Asia have realized that the Western hegemony cannot be dismantled until and unless internal conflicts are resolved first. Every year, both China and India spend billions of dollars to boost their military preparedness on the LAC. With the increased mutual understanding, the resources can be put to better use on both sides. India and China are the world's two largest armies. If Russian forces are also taken into account, the three powers can make for a formidable military alliance. If Russia's advanced tech, China's economic might, and India's manpower resources are put together, no alliance in the world would dare to play around with the BRICS bloc. The three bigwigs of Asia have realized that the Western hegemony cannot be dismantled until and unless internal conflicts are resolved first. Every year, both China and India spend billions of dollars to boost their military preparedness on the LAC. With the increased mutual understanding, the resources can be put to better use on both sides.